So which one are we doing today? Hello lovely people of YouTube and welcome back to Mark on Life and GhibliTime! So I have made it back safe and sound from Venice, the land of gondolas and gelato. Absolutely incredible city. If you haven't been there, do go. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you to everybody who watched last week's episode, which was Whisper of the Heart. If you haven't seen that episode, I will leave a link in the description below and at the end of this video. So, today we are covering one of, if not the most popular Studio Ghibli film that there has ever been, Princess Mononoke. So, Princess Mononoke came out on the 12th of July 1997 and like other Ghiblis was the #1 domestic film in Japan. In fact, it was the #1 film of any kind in Japan, beating E.T., which was the sort of #1 in 1982, and Princess Mononoke beat it. Unfortunately, it was then beaten itself by Titanic, which came out in the same year, in 1997. And it would still be the highest grossing anime film in Japan of all time until 2001 when Spirited Away topped it. It was also the most expensive anime film ever to be made. It cost about 2.35 billion yen, which is about $23.5 million. So that's a lot of money for an anime. Title for this one is Mononoke Hime, which is pretty exact. Hime is princess. Mononoke is a funny one. People think that it means that's her name, Mononoke, Princess Mononoke, like, you know, princess whatever. But it's not. Mononoke, her name is San, the princess. She's like the animal princess, which I'll talk about in a minute. Mononoke sort of means ghost or spectre, sort of vengeful spirit. So literally it means sort of princess of the monsters, basically, which is essentially what she is. Director for this one, as you can imagine, Miyazaki. And this one is totally original. No source material. Obviously there's lots of influences that go on, and influences after. A lot of people can see influences in the Legend of Zelda games after this. But in terms of this, Miyazaki wrote and directed it all, so it's an original work. The English dub on this one is a smorgasbord of Hollywood talent. Tons of people. We got Billy Crudup, we got Claire Danes, Minnie Driver, Billy Bob Thornton, Jada Pinkett Smith, Gillian Anderson, Keith David, absolutely tons of people. It's a really good dub, this one. Now, there are a few voices that I find strange. I've been watching the English dubs for all of these films going around this time. They do sometimes feel a bit weird to be English voices when I've always watched them as Japanese one, particularly this one, and a lot of them where it's so definitely set in Japan, and you've got like Japanese monks and this kind of stuff with very American voices. Sometimes it can irk a little bit and not quite feel as real or as genuine as the Japanese dub. But generally, of course, because they're very talented people, that they always do it pretty well, and this one is no exception. I'm going to reiterate a classic story from this one though. If you remember back when Nausicaa came out, first video in this series, the American version was recut and torn to pieces and re-released as Warriors of the Wind. Terrible sort of name and slashed to pieces. Harvey Weinstein bought the rights to Princess Mononoke, and you can remember I told this story some videos back. And so Miyazaki had a meeting with him, and he was still really annoyed about Nausicaa, what had happened to it. And so he left, he stormed out of the meeting. And Toshio Suzuki, one of the producers, then a few days later, sent Harvey Weinstein's office a katana blade, a samurai sword, with the words, "No cuts," nice pun, edged into the blade. And funnily enough, Princess Mononoke was released uncut, as has every single Studio Ghibli film since then. So what happens in Princess Mononoke? Now, previously I think I've been giving away a bit too much of the plot, so I'm going to cut it down here and give more of a basic overview. So we're set in Japan, and we're in the Muromachi period. So we're sort of 1330s to 1570s, changes depending on which historian you speak to, around the time of the War of Onin. So that is about 1466 to 67 is where we are. Our hero is a guy called Ashitaka, who is a prince of the Emishi people, a tribe of people sort of thought to be long gone. They're from the Tohoku region, the sort of northeast Honshu, known to ride red elks and do this and that, but people think they're long gone. Obviously they're not, but they think they are. And Ashitaka's village is attacked by a demon, boar that's been taken over by a demon. And although he's able to kill the demon and save the village, unfortunately he is poisoned or cursed in his right arm. And he is told by the woman of his village, the elder, that he is not going to survive this. It will infect him and kill him. And so the only thing he can do is leave the village forever, never come back, and search for a potential cure. So he goes west in search of this, and he encounters an old monk while he tries to buy rice in a village, and then he sees a sort of young kind of spirit of a girl with 3 wolves, and he thinks maybe this is the forest spirit that he's looking for that can save him and lift his curse. But then they run away. Nearby there is a sort of compound called Iron Town, a big place that produces iron, who is constantly warring with the local kind of tribes to keep themselves safe. And after a battle, people are injured, and 2 of the injured men Ashitaka finds in a river. And because he's very brave and helpful, he takes them, puts one on his elk and carries one and goes to the forest, led by these little sort of white creatures, these forest spirits called Kodama. And he takes them all the way home to Irontown, where he meets Lady Eboshi. And it's very impressive and he likes the place, but then he discovers that she was the one that actually shot the boar originally. It was this piece of metal that he found that he took to her to find out what it was. And it was her. And he also learns that she wants to destroy the forest, kill the forest spirit, so that they can clear the whole forest and sort of make it all the most, affluent area around. And this, he is not so pleased about. Then we finally see the princess herself, San, Princess Mononoke, who is known to be the daughter of the wolves, the sort of wolf clan, wolf spirit, mother and the 2 cubs. And she has a vendetta against Eboshi and wants to kill. So she attacks the village by herself. She's an amazing warrior. But Ashitaka doesn't want anybody to kill anybody. He wants peace between the sort of spirits of the forest and the human beings. So he stops them from killing each other, sort of knocks them both out, takes San away, and is shot through the chest as his kind of punishment for that as he leaves. As he's taking San back to her family, the wolves, he collapses, she wakes up and sort of takes him back and nurses him back to health. Although it's not exactly a nice place to be. The wolves are basically saying, leave now or we'll kill you. But they tolerate him because he's sort of healing. Meanwhile, Lady Eboshi is getting all her weapons ready, her new rifles to go and kill the forest spirit, so that all the animals will be returned to sort of the dumb state they were always in, so she can sort of take over the land. And while she's away, Irontown is attacked, and the women, who are sort of the main workers there, are sort of defending it. I don't want to give away too much on this one, actually, so I'm going to end it there. Essentially from there, it's Ashitaka and San's story of sort of friendship between them. Can they coexist? Can the forest and the humans and the animals coexist? It's a mixture of war and magic, and it's, I won't sort of ruin it. I want you to watch it and enjoy it for yourself. So, would I recommend Princess Mononoke? Yeah, obviously I would. Now, I would say this is a different type of Studio Ghibli. It's more reminiscent of the original ones, Nausicaa, Laputa, that kind of thing. It's an epic. It's not a sort of small, charming little film, and it doesn't give me the sort of fuzzy, smiley feeling that other ones do, like My Neighbor Totoro or Ponyo, which we haven't covered, we will do later. Those ones I can sit there and just smile all the way through it. This one is not that kind of film, so if that's what you want, that's not Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke is an epic. It's war, it's magic, it's fantasy. It's like watching a sort of cross between a sort of war film and Zelda mashed together, you know what I mean? It's very, very good. So if you like that type, absolutely do. Blu-ray looks fantastic, great colours, animation is brilliant. So do I recommend it? Absolutely. It's one of the most popular, the most successful, so of course, add it to your collection. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a big thumbs up if you like this video. Leave me a comment. I'm assuming you've probably seen Princess Mononoke, but let me know what you think. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Is it your type? Is it not? Let me know and we will discuss. Share this video any way you want and subscribe to my channel to see more. Next week we're going to be covering a very underrated Ghibli, totally different animation style, but one of my favourites, My Neighbours the Yamadas. Click over here to see last week's episode, Whisper of the Heart, and click over here to see more of my face in my movie-based comedy series, Retrospectives. I'm on all the usual social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, all of them are Mark Joseph Actor, so go follow me there now. So I will see you all right back here next week for My Neighbours the Yamadas, but until then, from me, Mark on Life and GhibliTime, I will speak to you soon.